You carry a part of yourself that you've never shown anyone, a part you've hidden even from yourself. This is your shadow, and it is not your enemy. The shadow is the part of you that learned to go quiet when it wasn't safe to speak, the part that learned to disappear so you wouldn't be rejected, the part that swallowed the anger, the grief, the desire, because expressing it meant losing love. Every shadow part was born as a survival strategy. These parts are not flaws. They are evidence that you were trying to survive. But here is what happens. The energy you use to keep the shadow hidden is energy you cannot use for living. You walk through your life at half power because the other half is locked in a room you refuse to open. So today we open the door, not to fix, not to banish, not to conquer, but to meet, to turn toward the very parts of yourself you have been running from, and to say, I see you, you're allowed to be here. The word healing comes from the Old English word heil, which means whole. To heal is to become whole, and you cannot become whole by leaving parts of yourself behind. Your triggers are not flaws, they are maps. They show you exactly where the frozen energy lives. Every time you react disproportionately to a situation, every time the anger, the tears, the shutdown comes rushing in faster than the moment warrants, your shadow is knocking. It is saying, this is mine. This old wound is mine. Will you look at it now? The practice is simple, but it is not easy. When the trigger comes, do not turn away. Do not numb it. Do not spiritualize it away. Instead, pause. Place your hand on your chest and silently say, I see you. You're allowed to be here. That's it. That is the beginning of shadow work. Not analysis, not excavation, just the radical act of turning toward what you have been running from. You're not too much. You never were. Every part of you, the light and the dark, the beautiful and the messy, belongs. Let's free your mind together. Do you ever feel like there's a part of you still waiting to be chosen, still waiting for someone to tell you that you're enough, that you're safe, that you matter? That part of you has a name. It's your inner child. Your inner child is not a metaphor. It is a living part of your emotional memory, the part of you that learned how to feel, how to love, how to trust, or how not to. Every wound you carry today, it almost certainly started there. When someone criticizes you and you immediately shrink, that's your inner child. When you people please even when it costs you, that's your inner child. When love feels unsafe or being seen feels dangerous, that's your inner child protecting you the only way it knows how. And here is what no one tells you about healing. You cannot heal over your inner child. You have to heal with them. The work isn't about going back to fix the past. The past cannot be changed. But the part of you that was formed in those moments, that little one, is still here. Still waiting, not waiting to be rescued, just waiting to be seen. What does your inner child need from you today? They need you to say, I see you, I'm here now, I'm not going anywhere. That is the beginning of the most important relationship you will ever have, the one with yourself. So if you've been wondering why certain things still hurt the way they do, why certain situations make you react in ways that feel too big for the moment, now you know. It's not weakness, it's history asking for healing, and you have everything you need to begin. In our next episode, we're going to talk about what your nervous system has been trying to tell you, and how to finally give it what it needs. I'm so glad you're here. Let's free your mind.
When is the last time you felt truly calm? Not just distracted, not numbed out, but genuinely, deeply at peace in your own body. If you can't remember, this episode is for you. Your nervous system is not broken. It is brilliant. It learned very early on to scan for danger, to protect you, to stay ready. But here is the problem. It doesn't know the difference between a real threat and an old memory, between what's happening now and what happened 20 years ago. So when someone raises their voice, even casually, your body goes into alert mode. When you need to speak up for yourself, your throat tightens. When you receive love, you wait for it to be taken away. That is not trauma controlling you. That is your nervous system doing the only job it was ever taught to do. The pathway to healing runs directly through the body. You can think your way to insight, but you can only feel your way to freedom. And the nervous system resets not through willpower, but through safety, through breath, through gentle sensation, through slowing down. Try this right now. Place one hand on your heart. Take one slow breath in and let it all the way out. Tell your body, I am safe right now. In this moment, I am safe. That simple act, that is your nervous system learning something new. You are not dramatic. You are not weak. You are wired for survival, and now you are choosing something more. You are choosing peace. In our next episode, we're going to go somewhere most people are afraid to go. We're going to meet the shadow. Let's free your mind together. There is a part of you that you've been trying not to see, not because it's evil, not because it's broken, but because someone once told you, with words or silence, that this part of you was not welcome. That's your shadow, and it's time to meet it. Carl Jung called it the shadow, the unconscious collection of everything we've pushed away, suppressed, and disowned. The anger you were told wasn't ladylike, the grief you were told to get over, the desire you were told was too much, the parts of yourself that felt unsafe to show. Here is the truth that changed everything. What you hide from yourself, you cannot heal. And what you project onto others is almost always what you haven't owned within yourself. The critical voice in your head that says you're not good enough, that is not the truth. That is a disowned part of yourself, a wound that learned to protect itself through criticism. Meeting your shadow doesn't mean becoming your shadow. It means owning it, witnessing it, saying, I see you, you are part of me, and I am no longer afraid of you. That is the act of integration, and it is one of the most courageous things a human being can do. The shadow holds something valuable that was taken from you, your wildness, your boundaries, your voice, your power. Reclaiming your shadow means reclaiming yourself. In our next episode, we're going to look at the patterns that have been running your life and how to finally break them. Let's free your mind together. Have you ever looked at your life and thought, why does this keep happening to me? The same relationship dynamic, the same self-sabotage, the same wall right before the breakthrough. You're not cursed, you're patterned. The brain loves patterns. It's designed to create them, to save energy by running familiar programs, even when those programs no longer serve you. The problem is, most of the core patterns running your life were written before the age of 7. They were written by a child who was doing their best to survive, to fit in, to be loved. And they are still running, quietly, powerfully, in the background of every decision you make. The pattern might look like, I have to earn love by being useful. If I need too much, I'll be abandoned. Success isn't safe. It always comes with a price. I don't deserve to be chosen. These aren't facts, they are stories. And stories can be rewritten. But first, you have to see the pattern. You have to watch it run without becoming it. You have to say, I noticed this pattern. It kept me safe once, but it's not keeping me safe anymore. That moment of recognition, that is the moment of power. Breaking a pattern doesn't happen overnight, but every time you choose differently, every single time, you are writing a new story. You are not your patterns. You are the one who can choose to change them. Next episode, we talk about something that lives at the core of every pattern, how you see your own worth. Let's free your mind together. Let me ask you something. If someone you loved, truly loved, came to you exhausted, depleted, convinced they weren't good enough, what would you tell them? Now, can you say the same thing to yourself? If the answer is no, this episode is where your healing turns. Somewhere along the way, most of us learned that our worth was conditional, that we had to earn it, perform for it, prove it, be good enough, smart enough, small enough, useful enough. And so we built our sense of self on shifting ground, on what others thought of us, on what we achieved, on how well we kept everyone happy. But here is what I know to be true. Your worth was never something that could be given to you, and it cannot be taken away. You were worthy on the day you were born, before you did anything, before you proved anything, before you became anything. Reclaiming your worth is not an achievement. It is a remembering. It is the slow, steady work of returning to what was always true. I am enough, right now, as I am. This doesn't mean you stop growing or learning. It means you stop bleeding out for the approval of others. It means you stop shrinking to make others comfortable. It means you start, gently, courageously, taking up the space you were always meant to fill. You don't have to earn your place in this world. You already belong here. And every time you choose to believe that, even a little bit, even for a moment, you are healing. In our next episode, we're going to talk about the most liberating and most misunderstood act of healing: forgiveness. Let's free your mind together. I want to say something about forgiveness that might surprise you. Forgiveness is not for the person who hurt you. It is for you. It is the moment you decide that their actions will no longer live rent-free in your body. For a long time, I believed forgiveness meant saying, "What you did was okay." So I held on to the pain, because releasing it felt like giving the person who hurt me a free pass. But I was wrong, and that misunderstanding kept me in a prison of my own making. Here is what forgiveness actually is. It is the decision to stop letting the past moment define your present one. It is releasing the energetic grip that resentment has on your nervous system. It is acknowledging, what happened to me was real, it hurt me, and I choose to no longer carry it. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean reconciliation. It doesn't mean the person deserves your trust again. It means your healing is more important than your anger. It means you are choosing your freedom. And some of the hardest forgiveness work is forgiving yourself for the choices you made when you didn't know better, for the times you abandoned yourself to keep the peace, for staying longer than you should have, for leaving before you were ready. You did the best you could with what you had, and now you know more. Forgiveness is not a one-time act. It is a practice, a doorway you walk through again and again. And every time you choose it, you become a little more free. In our final episode, we bring it all together. Emotional mastery, the place where wounds become wisdom. Let's free your mind together. You have done the work. You've sat with the wounds. You've met the shadow. You've broken the patterns. You've remembered your worth. Now it's time to talk about what all of that becomes. Emotional mastery. Emotional mastery is not about controlling your emotions. It is not about never crying, never breaking down, never feeling afraid. True emotional mastery is this: the ability to feel everything without being controlled by anything. It is the space between stimulus and response, the pause between trigger and reaction, the moment where you choose, consciously, deliberately, how you want to show up. And here is what I know from my own dark night of the soul and from walking this path with so many others. Emotional mastery is not a destination. It is a practice. Some days it looks like choosing compassion when you want to shut down. Some days it looks like crying and doing the thing anyway. Some days it looks like saying no and meaning it. Some days it looks like choosing rest. The wounds you've carried are not just scars. They are the very source of your deepest wisdom. Your pain taught you empathy. Your fear taught you courage. Your loss taught you what truly matters. This is emotional alchemy. This is how you turn your wounds into wisdom. If you've walked this entire series, I want you to know something. You have been doing one of the bravest things a human being can do. You have been choosing yourself. The work doesn't end here, but you are not who you were when we started. You have every tool you need to continue your healing, to reclaim your life, and to live it fully, freely, authentically. I am so proud of you, and I am so grateful we walked this path together. This is what it means to free your mind. Let's free your mind together. We are walking each other home.